Thank you for tuning in to the Victory is Greater Than the Struggle, an ex-lesbian podcast with myself, your host, Jessica Newsom. All right, so today I want to share with you guys a dream that God gave me. Either it was last night or the night before, I don't remember, but it really helps to illustrate this specific issue. Now, this is the issue. Sometimes we feel as though, well, let me say this. If I would just basically gather all of the issues and problems and situations that people come to me with, people that struggle with same-sex attraction, or not even that, any type of issue or sin, the thing that people usually say is, man, Jessica, I fell into temptation again. You know, I'm stuck again. I don't know how I'm going to get out of it. And then on the other side of it, people also say, I feel like God is taking things away from me because I keep falling. I feel like God keeps taking away maybe blessings or he's not fixing my situation because I keep falling into this sin, into this temptation. So this is my dream. Man, God is a good illustrator. So I had a dream a couple nights ago, and basically, I was at a house, a familiar house, right? A house that I grew up in. And it was about to flood. I knew that there was a flood coming, okay? And so because I knew there was a flood coming, I knew that I had to pick up my belongings and I had to get in my car, okay? And I had to leave, a regular, just 4-door car, okay? And I had to leave. But I had a friend that was at the house, right? And she was procrastinating, but I didn't want to leave until, she got her stuff too, so we could leave together, right? And she kept procrastinating and procrastinating. And because she was procrastinating, I chose not to leave the house. And so it started to rain. It started to pour. It was just pouring down, and the water was beginning to rise to where basically if you have a car that has a low center of gravity, right, it's lower to the ground, you could flood out your engine. You can't take, I can't take my Toyota Camry through a flood, okay? I'm going to stall out at some point in time. But if I had a big truck, I could kind of get through those waters. But if I had left before it started to flood, I would have been good. But because I procrastinated, because I waited around, okay, now I needed to borrow a truck. And so I went to borrow a truck, but because it was starting to flood, people started acting crazy. Anytime something happens, people start acting crazy. They start looting, all this stuff, right? Rioting. So in this situation, people were just acting desperate, I guess. And people were just coming and taking stuff off of my truck. So I'm trying to put stuff, I'm scrambling, putting my belongings on the truck. Random people were coming and just stealing it, behind my back. And what God was trying to explain to me through this, there's a little bit more details to it, but what God was trying to explain to me through this dream was that when the enemy comes in like a flood, right? When the enemy comes in to try to steal, kill, and destroy, God always provides a way of escape, right? He always lets us know. There's always a little bit of conviction that says, red flag, turn and go the other way, right? And if we choose to ignore it and stay in that bad place, what happens? We end up becoming overwhelmed with that issue. We start to feel like we are just maybe drowning in the sin of it or the bad decision we made, whatever the case is, and we seem to get stuck. And what happens when we get stuck, right? The enemy just comes in and he starts stealing. He starts taking blessings that God has for you. We don't know the stuff that God has going on in the supernatural realm when he's working on our behalf for our good, right? He has blessings. He has things lined up for us. But if we choose to ignore his caution sign, that red flag, what are we doing? We are allowing the enemy in. We are giving him a foothold. We're saying, I'm going to crack that door open just a little bit. It'll be okay, right? And then the waters start to rise. The heat starts to turn up. Drama starts to happen. We start to get into situations that now it's even more difficult to get out of. And then what? The enemy starts stealing. He starts taking blessings. He starts ruining relationships. He starts messing up with our mindset, right? He starts stealing things from us that God has for us. It is not God who just says, I'm not going to give you any of these things because you are bad. I think that we get in that mindset. I've been bad, so God is taking away. Now, I'm not saying that, we have to be to a certain level to receive certain things. Yeah, let's say you're called to ministry to do these amazing, ridiculously cool stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, your character, your integrity needs to be able to sustain you at that place. But just on a basic level, general day-to-day stuff, God is not trying to withhold blessings from us at all. He wants to give to us. His grace is sufficient. He knows that we're messed up. He knows that we're jacked up, but he always provides a way of escape for us. But so often we just sit in that water and we just say, okay, well, this is my excuse for staying. This is my reasoning as to why I'm going to sit in this water and let it rise. I know God's kind of got me, so, I'm just going to sit here and maybe I'll let the water get up to my neck. I'll let it get up to my ears. But what happens? We let that water gain so much control over our lives to where now we're trying to swim to get out of this thing. Now we need a tractor trailer. Forget a car, right? I need a tractor. I need something big to get me out of this thing. Because when God gives us a way of escape, it's turning and saying, you know what? I'm going to go the other direction. But when we get caught up in something and we get so deep into something, it is not that easy to turn. Because our flesh says, oh, I don't know about that. I kind of want to do it. I kind of want to make this decision, and it gets so overwhelming to where we just get caught up in sin and then we stay in that place. So you who are struggling and you're just saying, man, I'm in this place of being stuck. I'm in this place and I don't think I can turn around, because I'm in so deep. God gave you a way out, but you ignored it. I'm just being real. Come on. I'm speaking to myself. Okay. God gave you a way out, but you ignored it. So now you're really, you're up there interceding, praying in the spirit, just saying, God, give me the strength to really get out of this thing. I need more help. I need bigger help. I need more angels. I need more because I can't just get up out of this so easily anymore. And the enemy at the same time is stealing from you. He's stealing your peace of mind. He's stealing your blessings. He's stealing your hope. He's stealing your future. And we are allowing the enemy to do this because we continue to say, you know what? I'm not going to listen to that conviction, to that tug when God tries to let me know the first time to turn and go the opposite direction. All of us who struggle with anything, this message helps. Come on. We would be in such of a better place if we would listen to the Holy Spirit and turn when he tells us to turn. So if you just take that illustration of, knowing that a flood is coming versus being in a flood. Think about Katrina, right? Come on, right? When Katrina hit, when you're in that deep, you don't know where to go. You can't get out of that thing. You need helicopters. You need, you got the National Guard. You got everybody. You got heavy reinforcements coming to get you, right? But if you knew ahead of time, you could have had your peace, packed up your car, and you could have left without any problems. You could have had that peace of God that surpasses all understanding. But instead, we chose to stay. And then we get stressed out, worried, confused, upset, all of those things. So if you heard anything that I said, listen to God the first time. Don't choose to satisfy the desires of your flesh and stay when God is telling you to move. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. I do a podcast every Sunday and Wednesday. If you are watching me on YouTube or Facebook, That's awesome, but shame on you. Please check out my podcast. Subscribe. You could just put in my name, Jessica Newsom. The victory is greater than the struggle. It's an ex-lesbian podcast. And also check me out on YouTube. Like and subscribe to my stuff. Rate and review. I love you. Thank you for tuning in to The Victory is Greater Than the Struggle, an ex-lesbian podcast with myself, your host, Jessica Newsom.